Welcome to the jazz section of the drumming system. Jazz music was made very popular in the 1910s, 1920s, and stemmed through the 1960s. It was very mainstream at that point in time, and up until today you can still hear many great jazz artists. The jazz greats that come to mind are Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Charlie Parker, Thelonious Monk. This is just to name a few. There are many great jazz drummers, such as Buddy Rich, Gene Krupa, Max Roach, Jack DeJohnette, Tony Williams, and many more. I always say whenever you're learning a new style of music, the best thing to do is engulf yourself in the style by listening to it as much as possible. This way you have a full understanding of the music as you progress in your drumming. For me, when I first started playing drums, it was all about hard-hitting rock and roll, fast, speed. That's really what it was about for me. Then I realized that I kind of hit a brick wall in my independence, meaning I really couldn't separate my limbs the way I wanted to. I had some speed, I had some ability to play some pretty cool beats and fills, but one thing I didn't have was the ability to really separate each limb individually. One of my old instructors, Mitch Dorge, lent me a Jack DeJohnette album, and this changed my life because I took this album home, put it on thinking, hey, this is kind of cool, I'm going to play some jazz today. Well, put on the album, hit play, could not figure out at all what Jack DeJohnette was doing. Went back to my teacher and said, okay, now what? Where do we start? And we had to kind of start on a whole new world of independence. You know, individual different ride patterns, some separate snare patterns, various bass drum patterns. Hi-hat was being played with the foot on beats 2 and 4. It was quite a different adventure for me. The more I started listening to jazz music, the more I started to understand it. I was able to play along with some very simple patterns, some very simple exercises, started to generate a good understanding and a good foundation of jazz. So what we're going to do in this section is we're going to break down some very simplistic jazz grooves, add some bass drums, add some snare. The main thing is we want to keep that solid swing ride cymbal happening the whole entire time. So let's take a look at jazz section.